Welcome everyone to the Real Whovians cast. I am your host Matrix Lord 212, and I wanted to touch base on something that was mentioned in the last cast, and that is how far would us Whovians go to get Doctor Who to return and prevent the hiatus? Okay, would we be willing to relinquish control, creative control of Doctor Who to a streaming service? Now, like hypothetically speaking, let's say Amazon Prime said, look, we will take Doctor Who on, but we want 50% creative control. If that was the case, in my opinion, honestly, I think we need to think things through and very carefully because to save Doctor Who, we can't kill Doctor Who. And if it's a thing where, maybe don't want to wait or stuff like that, I wouldn't jump into a contract with another streaming service if there was a need for another streaming service. And I would never give creative control, period. Now, why do I say this? I would basically rather Doctor Who be on hiatus than give the keys to the kingdom or part of the kingdom to anyone. We've seen what happens when people have creative control to intellectual properties like, say, Morbius or Madam Web, where Sony did their own thing. It turned out to be terrible. Same thing, Craven the Hunter. All their properties, they did their own thing, their own direction, and it turned out like garbage. So I would not want to relinquish creative control at all to Doctor Who. So you also got to think who is the best person for the job to run Doctor Who. And, maybe it's my years as a store manager in retail or a district manager in retail or running a medical practice or a mall. But my experience is if you have people that are energetic and could do the job and so enthusiastic and love their job, you have to let go of, you have to look at the good things and not the bad things. You got to let certain things go. And the thing is, in this case, if Russell tomorrow would say, I'm out, Moffat's out, and Chibnall's out. Now, the reason why I mention all three is because Russell T Davies is the showrunner, and his best friends are Moffat and Chibnall. And Moffat does scripts for Russell, and Chibnall still talks to Russell, as well as, gives critiques about what they should do with some big finish stuff for Jodie, 13th Doctor, and Yaz. So they're part of the whole boys club. If some may want to call them the unholy trinity of Doctor Who, some may want to call them the Trinity. I don't know. But if Russell, Moffat, and Chibnall were out tomorrow, there would be nobody that would be wanting the role as showrunner of Doctor Who. There is nobody that has talked about it. There's nobody that said, I would love this. And if there's anybody that has talked about it, BBC wouldn't choose them. Now, we were left with something that some podcaster has brought up that I'm not really thrilled with that person. And it's also come up on Twitter. And that is Michael J. Straczynski. Now, again, no disrespect to Michael J. Straczynski, but this guy is the guy, in my opinion, that destroyed Spider-Man and made Spider-Man make a deal with the devil to save Aunt May and altered the entire Marvel Universe forever that was never turned back. So, no, I would not want him anywhere near Doctor Who. Sorry. Ever. And again, if it's a situation where there's nobody for the job, then Doctor is going to go quiet. If it was the case where nobody wanted to take it over, Doctor Who could be gone for 10 to 20 years if, and only if, it wasn't attached to Disney Plus or if Russell wasn't on board. Because I don't know anybody that could take the role. And if anybody did take the role as showrunner, I don't think they would last more than 2 years or 3 years. So that's the point, is that as much as we may not like certain things that Russell T Davis does, there isn't nobody that cares more about Doctor Who than he does. Nobody that's excited like a little kid about what he's currently writing for season 4 and 5, which is years ahead. So you have that type of determination, that type of, you know, um, he just loves Doctor Who. He's a fan of Doctor Who. I wouldn't want to take that away. And you know what? You have to deal with what you have to deal with. So if there's certain things you don't like about RTD, you have to deal with it, because ultimately he's the guy that brought Doctor Who back in 2005. He's the guy that saved Doctor Who in 2023 or 2022, whatever you want to say. He's the guy that is continually pushing Doctor Who to new heights. So that's my take. I'm going to bring Connor in. What's up, Connor?
Hello.
All right, so what do you have to say?
I mean, I assume that we're talking about this new deal that's on the table.
I was just giving good about Russell Davis, but yeah, I talked about that in the last cast. Go ahead.
Yeah, so
Let them know what we were talking about,
basically. The rumor is, and anyone that's kind of been keeping the ear to the ground over the last few days will know that a rumor from the guy that leaked the original ending of season 2 correctly, because the mother of the Captain Poppy actress came out and confirmed that that was the original ending, came out with another tidbit of information to say that Disney are out with Doctor Who, and there is a new deal being negotiated on the table with another big streamer. Now, Marty has heard that the big streamer is going to be Amazon Prime. So they will take over the international distribution rights for Doctor Who. But unlike Disney, Amazon Prime want a little bit more to do in Doctor Who than just distribute the international rights for the show. So apparently the rumor in the mill at the moment is that the Prime want creative control. So they want to be able to have a say over the direction of the show. And that includes switching the tone up a little bit to where it's a little bit darker, and it's going more towards an audience that would watch Stranger Things. But RTD is pushing back, and he wants the tone of the show to stay the same as it was during Shooty's era, where it's a little campier, it's lighthearted. Probably the musical aspects stay. And judging by the Reddit thread where that last bit of information came out, it sounds like a lot of people are not on RTD's side with this. And I am one of them. I think that RTD has grossly miscalculated what the audience want out of Doctor Who. It's almost as if he has read online and he's seen people say they want the musical aspects, they want the lightheartedness, they want the campiness. Now, Stranger Things has that. It has the lighter moments. It doesn't have campiness. It has comedy.
Right.
That's fine. But RTD has written the show into a tonal corner, because now it feels like you can't go dark. The closest they've been to going dark is The Well,
right.
I think, for me. And that worked. But one-off episode, and that was it. The rest of the season, then we got Interstellar Song Contest, which had dark elements to it. I mean, the Doctor was obviously raging, and there was the whole idea of killing 3 billion people, or whatever it was, 3 million.
3.8 trillion
2.8 billion, yes. So yeah, there is, but nothing came of that. So there was just like a mention.
Well, wasn't that sort of like a hint for things to come for an upcoming storyline, possibly? Because it's not going to be mentioned now.
Possibly, but who knows? It's like people want either the 2005 to 2008 vibe, or they want something like a Stranger Things or a Black Mirror. That seems to be the kind of
well,
the winner online.
The thing is, Stranger Things is Netflix, right? And
yes.
Stranger Things, while it was immensely popular when it started and towards the middle, it's kind of like here gone down a tad compared to what it used to be, where it's losing its audience. It's not really.
I think what with Stranger Things, what's killed it is the long wait between season 4 and season 5.
I agree. Yeah, because they're all grown up already, but yeah, we haven't seen them when they.
It's
filmed.
literally been about 2.5 years now, I think, since. I really like season 4 though. I think season 4 was my second favorite.
But that's the problem with the streaming services. Disney Plus making them wait. They can't wait. Doctor Who can't wait, right? So, like, you can't have the same philosophy to Doctor Who because you're going to drive the Whovians mad. And Stranger Things, like, while I said you heard me say I wanted to go darker. You heard me say that I want a darker season, but I don't want it ultimately dark. I just want. I would be okay with the season having a theme where it would be dark, but I don't want it always dark. And the thing is that we have to make a determination about our own personal beliefs. Sort of like when the Doctor had to make a deal with the Master in Legopolis. And that took a lot to shake his hand and make a deal, right? So, like, would we basically sell our soul for certain things? No, I wouldn't. But how far would we go? Would we basically destroy Doctor Who to save it? Because the moment you relinquish control over Doctor Who, you lose control. And then there's always going to be bickering of Russell wants to do this, but then they want to do this, and then they're going to be constantly a struggle and odds. And you really don't want a constant struggle at odds. You want one person to be completely in control of it, not two. Because when you do that, it doesn't work, and things are going to fail. 9 times out of 10, it doesn't work. And with all the egos involved, there's no way that would work.
I think that for me, and maybe it's just I'm kind of blinded by my own personal preferences with Doctor Who. I feel like on its current trajectory, with the tone at the moment, the show is going to die a lot quicker than if they change it up and go for this Stranger Things kind of vibe.
But I would rather it die quicker than them do crazy shit like the Master is his brother, the Ronnie's his sister, and Clara's his real
brother. No, absolutely.
Like, absolutely. We had that. And again, I'm American, no disrespect to us Americans, and I'm not disrespecting my own country, but we can't do Doctor Who, okay? We tried to do Doctor Who, well, not me personally, but when Paul McGann, they're trying to be like he's half human, all this crazy shit. If that was left to continue, they were going to do some crazy, crazy shit you wouldn't believe. And I definitely wasn't on board with that half human crap or anything else.
No, absolutely. And I think with that, what we have to remember is that Amazon have Louis behind backstage, by the way. Amazon have creative control, but they're not the showrunner. So the showrunner will be someone that is appointed by Amazon. So Amazon could go for a British producer that's not RTD. So you're not necessarily risking it being Americanized just because Amazon are involved. And I think that was exactly the same thing for Disney. It didn't necessarily go more American because Disney were involved. It just got a lot bigger budget.
But if Amazon chooses the showrunner, they're not going to go with his scripts. They're going to throw them out, and they're going to do their own scripts. But an Amazon Prime thing is temporary. It could be a contract of 3 years. But when it's done, right, no one's going to take over Doctor Who. It's going to be done for 10, 20 years. So why to temporarily keep Doctor Who going, why can't you look at the overall picture that this guy Russell is in it for up to season 5, and then if he leaves, he's going to appoint his successor. Maybe Moffat may take over for a year or two. Who knows? But
No,
but the
no.
thing is, you know, they're going to screw it up. I'm sorry, Amazon's going to screw it up if they get control of Doctor Who.
Well, I think that Amazon are in an interesting position because they've recently got rid of the 2 heads of the studio side of it. So the ones that make the TV series, they were actually fired by Jeff Bezos because the results weren't great. So you had things like Wheel of Time, Rings of Power. The Boys was a success. You've got various shows in there that were a success. Good Omens was a success for Amazon Prime as well, with David Tennant and Michael Sheen. You have got successes in there, but there was a lot of failures, and I feel like Prime wanted to change direction with the way that the TV and film side of their enterprise was going, and they have actually replaced the heads of the studios. So they've got a kind of a new vision that we've not seen yet because there's not been anything really produced under this new banner yet. But
I want to get Louis' perspective on Amazon.
Yeah, sorry, I don't really know what you guys are talking about. So
okay, so there's I'll fill you in. Well, Connor, fill him in quickly.
Oh, is this what you said earlier, Connor, about Amazon potentially?
The rumor about Amazon Prime taking over, and they want more of a Stranger Things vibe to it, but RTD's pushing back, and he wants it to be.
And they want creative control.
And
I personally think Doctor Who needs to be more camp, more musicals, more gay. No Stranger Things.
Right.
No, I'm only joking. I'm only teasing. Seriously, in all seriousness, I don't think Amazon should have control. I think it should be whoever's a showrunner. However, I do think that they need to go a bit more, not darker, but more sci-fi. I feel like the last 2 seasons haven't really been sci-fi. We haven't had any Dalek stories or Cybermen. I mean, for me, the best this era's been was probably Wild Blue Yonder or The Well, which were darker episodes, which played on like horror themes, but also was a bit sci-fi-y. The Star Beast I enjoyed, apart from all the transgender agenda. Yeah, that was a bit forced. Again, nothing wrong with transgenders, and I'm not trying to be transphobic. I just think it was the way they handled it was very forced.
Right.
I think they need to. I think honestly, I love Russell T Davies. His first era was amazing. This era has not been so great. I think if the show really wants to survive another 20 years, what it needs to do is get rid of RTD, get rid of everyone who's been in the show previously. No more Moffat, no more RTD. Get new, fresh writers in. I don't care if they're English, American, whoever. Just need fresh perspective on the show. No more pulling back to the history of the show and like the big bad. I'm not saying do like a series 11 where it's like no references at all, but like it needs to go to a point where you could watch the show afresh without having to watch the last 60 years, without having to bring back everyone and their mum. It needs to be when a villain does come back, it's exciting. Not for God's sake, we've got Omega, Susan, Rani.
That was a waste.
It was complete waste of those characters. And the thing is, they're interesting characters that deserve a whole finale of their own, not have them all shoved into one.
In season 3, you should continue with Omega for a whole year. And then, maybe save the Rani from that realm because she shouldn't be dead. She's probably just teleported into his realm or whatever because he's the manifestation of a god. So, she's not going to be dead. She's going to be in his realm. But let me throw a different thing at both of you, because when my BBC source called me the other day, he really wanted me to understand from the BBC's perspective, and something that I was not aware of, that everything to do with the scripts getting altered, changed, hodgepodged was not completely Russell T Davis's fault. because, as he stated, he said Millie Gibson had to be fired. I had no idea what she was doing. And then, yes, they had to hire her back. But he said that Russell T. Davies flat out changed the scripts in season 1 because he felt that she wasn't going to be around. So they changed the entire ending of the Sutek finale to make it where her mother was nobody important, only because it was supposed to originally be a 3-season arc and her parents were somebody important. But he didn't want to admit that, and he never admits stuff when stuff goes wrong, especially, we heard stuff from my source that Shooty wanted out of his contract. He wanted another raise, a second raise, and they said no, and then they gave him an out on his contract. So he's trying to basically tell me that majority of things that went wrong were 2 factors, Shooty and Millie Gibson, and that everybody should give Russell a chance, but yet also he was wrong for doing the Billy Piper thing, but he was desperate.
I mean, I believe that. I mean, you can tell. They said they cast Vara Desefu like 2 weeks before they started filming.
Yeah.
You can tell that. You can tell by watching the Reality War Wish World that Belinda's role was clearly meant to be Ruby's. She was meant to be Poppy's mum, because it was Poppy that met Ruby. And in that episode in Space Babies, they literally say, "I wish we could be your parents." Yeah. It's so obvious. And the fact that Belinda's just put into a box for the most of the episode, like they don't really know what to do with her. So I can believe that. I think this era has been a mess. I think
but knowing what I just told you, would you give him a pass to continue because it's not his fault completely?
I mean, what I was going to say was this era's been.
He has to deal with the bullshit as a showrunner.
No, listen to what I'm saying. I'm not blaming him. I'm saying this era has been a mess. His fault or not, we can all agree it's messy. Stuff's happened that wasn't meant to happen. Do I think he should go? Personally, I think it was very tired, this era. It feels like a rehash. It feels like a reaction video most of the time, popping in the 13th Doctor or Joe Martin for the sake of it, just to get views. I mean, if he stays, okay, I'm not going to be fuming about it. I think he's a very good writer. But if he stays, he needs to go back to what made the show good in 2005 onwards and just make original content. Stop going back to the law. Stop changing the law. I don't want to hear about Time Lords being infertile or the timeless child bullshit. I just want to see the Doctor and a companion go into space and time and fight Daleks and monsters and evil and no more gods. That's been done to death. I don't think the god stuff.
Think about this. Knowing that she was causing a problem, Millie Gibson, the thing that changed the most about the first season was the finale. So now technically we had 2 finales that were altered. Okay. Now, if that was the plan, that she was going to have a story arc of 3 years, maybe Sutek wouldn't have been ending that way, and maybe he would have carried on for 3 seasons as the villain, because this has something to do with her origin. Because from what I was told, they were not going to reveal her origin at all for 3 years. They're going to do a whole 3-year story arc. So imagine Sutek still being around throughout the 3 seasons.
Well, it's very obvious she was meant to be a member of the Pantheon, or her parents were, because why did it snow for a time? Why did they say she has the song in her from The One Who Waits and all that shit? It's very obvious that stuff didn't happen. I don't think Sutek's gone for good. You could easily bring him back.
No, I do too, but my thing is that it could have been where he didn't end Sutek that way, that he continued on for 3 seasons.
It could have been brilliant, but we are where we are now, where it didn't happen. It's not very good, but I think we need to, as a community, move forward. I'm not bringing up like the community within like the Whovian Wars, that stuff. Like Doctor Who fans in general need to just move forward, accept what's happened. Shooty's gone. People are happy about that. People are very disappointed about that. It's happened. We can't change it. Billy Piper is the 16th Doctor. If you like it or not, that's the case for now. We just need to move on and accept it.
That's up on the air. We don't know that. We really don't know that. They would have put her name they would have put her name as a doctor if she was. That wasn't planned. First of all, from what my source said, he has no idea. Like literally, he just did that. He literally really didn't think things through. Just wanted to put a face up there. Had no intention of her being the doctor. That's why he didn't put her as the doctor. He has no clue what he's going to do. But again, they all admit that was a mistake, and they all admit that he was desperate. And they actually, from the BBC perspective, they are 100% pro RTD. They are 100% backing him, regardless of all this bullshit out there that people are trying to convey. In fact, they were the ones pushing him to do a 20th anniversary when he had no intention whatsoever of doing a 20th anniversary special and maybe tied into Christmas.
No, he said that. I mean, I'm just annoyed today that one of my favourite actors to be the Doctor is been cast. Well, they're already in the role, but they're going to get a bigger role, and EastEnders taking over the Vic. I think Jesse Wallace would have been a great Doctor. I don't know about Connor. Connor, what do you think about
that? She's a bit too soap actress for me.
You're a snob.
Your choice of Bertie Carvel would have been good, but obviously now he's in Harry Potter. So
yeah, he's a transphobe.
I have a question. I mean, think about this. Doing this Amazon Prime thing could be overwhelmingly bad. I mean, yeah, we'll get a quick fix. We'll get a season faster than usual or a showrunner, but ultimately,
I'll tell you why it's a bad decision. We're going to get exactly the same thing. They'll get a contract for 2 seasons. We'll cast someone as a Doctor who's popular. They'll be in the season for like 8 episodes like Shooty. Amazon won't renew the contract again. Then we'll have another thing where we've had a Doctor for about 2 years, and then it'll be another hiatus thing of, we have to go somewhere else. It's a stupid decision. No more streaming shows. The show doesn't need to go on streaming. Keep it to BBC where they make more episodes because they need more episodes to sell. Yeah, the budget won't be as great, but Doctor Who's never had a good budget. I'm not being funny. This Disney budget, yeah, you've had some cool graphics, but did it really affect the show that much? I would rather have people in rubber suits and CGI shit that's going to age in 10 years.
I don't know if that would work in 2025.
The issue is that the BBC don't have the money to make the show anymore.
Well, it's not that it's not that they have the money. They probably have the money to do a special, but do they have the money long term? Like you're talking years?
No, that's what I mean. They don't have the long term funds to be able to make the show.
And the whole point in going to the streaming service is to basically strengthen the BBC, because if the Doctor is a success, it helps the BBC.
I've heard from someone who's been reliable-ish that it wasn't Amazon and it's HBO Max.
See, if it's HBO Max, then HBO Max are not going to buy into a show.
But I would not. HBO Max is connected to Warner Brothers, and they're in dire straits of the company splitting into many different factions.
Yeah,
that's not a good idea to do, because even if you sign a deal with them, it's going to get fucked up when they get sold.
Hey, HBO have more of an identity than Amazon do. HBO are not flexible in what they distribute, because they are more about these gritty dramas, these big shows that millions and millions of people are going to tune into. So they're not going to invest in a show that has the tone that RTD wants. But
they also waste money too, though, because HBO Max is like an extension of Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers has canceled movies that they cost them hundreds of millions of dollars, so no one would ever see them. So if they do a whole season of Doctor Who and they don't like it, they could scrap it and you never see it.
I've got a question, because unfortunately, I'm going to have to leave in a minute because I've got work at 8. But just a question. Who would you like to see, both of you, as the next Doctor? Not obviously, Billy Piper might be 16. We don't know 100%, but it looks that way. Who would you like to see as 17? For me, Kelly Bright's now out of a job as landlady of the Queen Vic. She could make a good doctor. But who do you guys think?
I would go young, and I would go. He would never take the job because he's too famous now. But I would go Jack O'Connell.
Never heard of him.
I would go young, like sort of like 22, maybe 21 even.
I thought you were going to say 26.
But I don't know really who I would choose. But I just would want it to be. I don't want it to be a female. Not that I'm against females, but I don't want. I think we need a lot more time before that, and I would rather honestly to see Jodie from here and Joe Martin from time to time. But I don't know really what actor I think would fit the role. I just want it to be younger and fresher, or if it's not going to be too much younger, then I sort of want the next Doctor to be connected with Ruby directly, like where we get to finish her story, or Belinda even, because now you got to think about, and the Doctor Who fan in me thinks about it. Now you have a situation where not only is Belinda and Poppy in the past, but for some weird, mysterious reason, there's two versions of them in the future. We have Poppy as a space baby, and we have her as Mundy Flynn. So now, could it be possible that a villain has cloned Belinda and Poppy and sort of tried to repopulate in the future? Like Ronnie Floods in the future, and she's basically what we've seen in the future of the Poppy space baby is actually a clone of the Poppy in the past.
It's a good theory, but I think we need to move away from these characters now.
No, but I don't think so, because we're left with a paradox.
Say we go to Amazon Prime, right? Say the show goes there. Are they going to reboot it again and call it season 1? Will they have access to the Disney season? Like, we need to start fresh. New Doctor. Personally, I'm not actually. I don't mind a female Doctor, but I think if we have a new female Doctor, she needs to be in her 60s, not a young hot chick with big tits. An older, stern woman with an acid tongue. Maybe Blanche from Coronation Street, that kind of vibe. You need someone older.
Helen Mirren.
Not Helen Mirren. Yeah. Someone who can act. You need someone that can act.
What?
You need someone that can act. Not Helen Mirren.
What?
She's been doing a lot of TV.
She can't
Are you crazy?
Her Irish accent was abysmal. Her Irish accent was worse than Jack's. It was awful.
Look, here's the thing. I am against. I'm not going to play into this. I mean, we're going to talk about this stuff going on, but here's the thing. How will we everybody's trying to arrive to this conclusion that Disney's done, right? But here's the thing. People have been spewing Disney's done since 2023, 2024, 2025. It's only now that Doctor Who is, as always is when the season's done, that Whovians are losing their mind. And they're going to just continue that thread.
Twice a day. Come on.
Hold on.
Because season 1 and 2 filmed back to back.
Correct.
We are now at the position where Disney's involvement could genuinely end.
Well, why? Wait. Why is it that everybody's leaning towards that?
Because Shooty left. The whole reason he left so rushed because they pulled out. What
if Shooty left? It was never be like Shooty leaves and then that's the end of the Disney deal. No, they were going to continue on other Doctors.
The sooner you wake up and smell the roses, no pun intended, the show's done on Disney. It's done.
Smell what roses?
Smell the roses at Disney.
What roses have you constructed?
I think at this moment,
the rose is not associated with Doctor Who.
I don't follow your reality, Louis.
No,
it's a good reality.
I've got to agree with Louis. I think that Disney are done.
I don't think so.
Well, Connor's being a hater and agreeing with Louis.
First of all, how could they be done if they still have the spin-off?
They still have the spin-off, but again, it's been filmed. It's all.
Who cares? But they still have to listen. They still have to pay for stuff.
Thank you for having me shortly.
Thank you, Louis.
Thank you for having me shortly. Sorry,
Louis.
But I'll leave it on this. I bet you my life, Disney will pull out as soon as they put that War Between Land and Sea. That'll go under the radar. They won't promote it. It'll be done.
Okay, and because you bet your life, I'll take your soul and put it in a dog, and I'll raise you. Okay, thank you. God bless you, Louis.
Whoa, I'm gonna be a dog.
God bless you.
God bless you, bro. God bless you. God bless you, bro. Take care, bye for now. Yo, prime you, baby. That was the host. All right. So, anyway, now I'm having a senior moment. I forgot what I was talking about, Connor. Could you bring us back to reality?
I've got to agree with Louis. I think that Disney are done because their obligation now to Doctor
Is that James, by the way, in the lobby?
I have no idea. Is he?
I don't know.
Is there someone in there?
Says George back.
Oh, it's got to be James then.
Hello, James. Hello, James. So cool. We're gonna have an interesting perspective from you.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I saw a link in the chat. I didn't even know what this was. Oh, it's Joe. What's up?
What's up, bro? Okay, so listen, we want to have the mindset of Russell T. Davis and what he's thinking if there was a situation where Amazon Prime wants to be the streaming service for Doctor Who, and basically they want creative control, so they want basically him out or to control him. So being that you're an expert on being a dick, what is like Russell T. Davis' perspective on his ego and giving that up for Amazon Prime? What do you think, Dick? No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
No, don't worry. I do have a massive dick, thank you. But I will say, he won't willingly. He's always been. He's never changed since he's been doing any show. From the two.
It's an ego.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on the agreement, which none of us will ever know what it is. Which is between Bad Wolf and the BBC. We don't know what that details and what clauses they are. But it's all down to Bad Wolf, isn't it? And they have a lot of power. And while they're still in charge,
years control. Yeah.
Yeah.
Connor, what is it, like 3 more years with Bad Wolf or 5 years?
I don't know how long the deal with Bad Wolf.
It's a couple more years.
It's really. Definitely the details of it are completely not public though, so we just don't know.
Yeah.
The BBC would have been dumb to give them, forever. So I don't know what I'd imagine 5. So 5 from 2022, yeah. So wait, they came in 2022 filming, but does the deal start
from 3 more years? It was Russell wanted to do season 3, 4, and 5. I think that's what Bad Wolf.
I think the deal started from when they started pre-production on whatever their first episode was, so it would have been
2022.
It's probably a few more years, more than 3.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah, and the question is it a Disney thing or is it a Bad Wolf thing that it's 8 episodes? It's that's.
I think it's a Disney thing. I think it's a Disney
thing. Yeah, a bit of both though, because if he has so much power, which he claims to have, he could have resisted it, which he didn't.
No, because that could have been a deal breaker. They could have been like, we only want this because look at Daredevil, look at this, look at all these different shows. It's the same thing around that time. So, I wouldn't break a deal for that. I would give in to that as long as I would get years worth of Doctor Who.
Yeah, and obviously production, but obviously the reason why I'm saying you wouldn't have resisted it is because they probably didn't anyway, because obviously less episodes is just, let's be honest, easier to do on a production side. It's less work. If you remember, full well when they filmed David Tennant's series, that was 9 months.
Yeah.
Straight back to back, no breaks. No, I know he had a break in Blink, but he still came on set. He still came on set on the street, didn't he? That scene with the video game. He was on set, wasn't he?
He's a fan. He's a fan, so he's going to be there no matter what.
Yeah. So, but that was 9 months straight. I don't think they knew. I don't think it's 9 months straight. There's definitely not, because nobody breaks. What's up, dude?
I have some breaking news. There's like this Twitter account called Back the BBC, and apparently it is like a rumor that in a few weeks or days we should be getting an announcement on the future of the show.
We're just talking about.
Oh, you're talking about that? I mean, that came out like 30 minutes ago.
Well, it is a time travel show.
But the Doctor travels on the TARDIS. That's it.
This guy.
Actually, look. Here's the thing. We're waiting for the supposedly the Disney was supposed to make an announcement after I guess a month's worth of ratings in. So that was always coming that somebody's going to make some announcement. But I also feel that if Disney were to leave, they're not going to do it until after the spinoff is aired before they say anything. So
I think that's more likely. So I
mean,
think
I hear it's going to Prime, so who knows?
Well, no, that's not definite. Don't believe. Look, this is just
I don't
rumors
believe that. Yeah.
that Prime, Amazon Prime.
I have a question for Joe. If you, let's say you're, a wizard right now and you have a magic wand, you can make anything happen, yeah? Apart from yourself, because obviously you want to be showrunner, if you could have anyone running Doctor Who, BBC, Netflix, Amazon, who would you pick and why?
Anybody running the BBC?
It could be you could go back to BBC running it if you want to, but if you could have anyone running Doctor Who, the budget, whatever you want, yeah, who would you have running it? Like Netflix, Amazon, BBC, HBO, who would you have?
I kind of, here's the thing. I would want Disney Plus to still run it, but also a long-term contract where they just give the money, they don't put inputs. And I also feel that I have to agree that maybe some of what Disney had wanted kind of ruined Doctor Who. Like Marty was always saying that it wasn't Russell about the sonic screwdriver. It could be that it's Disney Plus that did that shit. I don't like that. And again, they did alter the beginning of their Church on Ruby Road to put some characters in there and stuff. So I would want Russell, Moffat, like I would want all of them to be in it, like doing scripts, but I would want 13 episodes plus a Christmas special.
Oof.
So I would want 14 episodes, and I would also want the Whoniverse where I would want Unit to have a regular show to be on when Doctor Who is not on, and I would also want to showcase third show about maybe the companions and life after time with the Doctor, and either them joining Unit or them going through stuff in their life or them being harassed by villains or something that we don't see off air. So I would sort of want to do a series like that where it will be like a pickup where we left off type of thing. Like what happened to Nardo? Is he a couple episodes?
Oh my God.
What happened to Bill Potts? We heard from Lockdown she was in protest. She was back on Earth with the Puddle Monster, but they were having problems with the relationship. So like what's going on with the characters? What's going on with Martha Jones? Like, is her husband alive or not?
We used to have that, didn't we? We used to have that. We used to have Doctor Who, Torchwood, and Sarah Jane Adventures simultaneously.
Correct. So we need to have Doctor Who on all the time, whether it be the Doctor Unit or companions, all throughout the year, so that way the presence is made and known, and that everybody in their brain has Doctor Who so much that back in America, we could restore the marketing and merchandising because I go all over the place now and nobody has Doctor Who stuff. And that's telling because again,
they don't care.
Before Jodie, there was merchandise everywhere. Doctor Who grew from Matt Smith on where it was all over the place. It was, if people didn't know about Doctor Who, they knew. Moffat made it clear. He brought his presence to New York. He brought his presence all over the world. He had Capaldi and Jenna Louise Coleman travel all over the place. So like he was all about all over the world and basically, do this action figure, do this calendar, do this. Chibnall wanted none of that and killed all the marketing deals. So now we have hardly anything, and we got to reestablish not only Doctor Who, but we've got to reestablish the merchandise, and we don't have that.
Merchandising front, they wanted toys of Beep the Meep, but no toy manufacturers would pick up that contract.
Why?
Well,
so people don't even want to make Doctor Who toys in it because they won't sell.
Right.
It's a simple. So it's like they had RTD had the full intention of being able to sell Beep the Meat toys, but it's just never come to.
Well, why can't they do what they did with Star Trek, where they individually number the figure on the foot, and if you got and people could specially order it, and if you got like a lower number, then that would be worth something. Like treat it like a number one issue of a comic book where
like
put the value
edition kind of thing.
It'll be like they create the toy. You could specially order it. They don't have to overproduce it. They don't have to have 5 million beep to
and then you're talking about a limited edition run.
I'm talking like self-publishing a book where it's not like Hillary Clinton wrote a book that she's going to be the president. She's not.
Oh,
now they're sitting on 5 million copies. No, I'm saying literally, you print on demand like a book, but you print on demand for like an action figure where. Like you create the action figure and you will mass produce it based on orders. Why can't they do that? That's the way
I think that with that kind of merchandising, you have to have that. You have to have income in that field at that point. Dr. Evil has nothing in terms of.
You have to start somewhere. You have to. If you can't get an action figure, then you create a T-shirt. It's not
it needs
like
to
you start.
It needs to reboot from the start. You know, like with Rose, you know, like with the original show, Eccleston, it was a big hit, but it takes time, and it needs exactly what you said. It needs more episodes, at the bare minimum 10, maybe 12. 8 it's never going to be a success. Being 8, it's just not going to work.
You got to start.
Never on. Yeah, it's 52 weeks a year, and that means what? Look, that's 44 weeks. It's not on 44 weeks of the year. We have more Doctor Who.
Listen, you experiment. You create a T-shirt. Hot Topic was like a biggest Doctor Who supporter at one point, right? Then it got down to shit where nobody wants even T-shirts, right? But you start off with a T-shirt. You start off with a calendar. You start off with something, a toy, a play set, or whatever, and you build up to action figures. What's up, Marty?
Hello. How are we?
Oh my God! Is the popular guy? He's the new showrunner.
Well, give me 20 years and we'll see. So what have we talked? I don't know what you've said or what, but I've got a bit more context for you since I've been speaking to you.
Yeah.
So what have you mentioned?
Who, me or Joe?
Connor. No, Connor will tell him.
Connor, yeah.
So I've just kind of outlined the fact that you heard it was Prime, and then I extrapolated on what I'd seen on Reddit about the fact that they want the Stranger Things turn.
Yeah.
And all that. So
I will tell you what I've heard. And before I go any further, rumor and speculation. This isn't fact before anybody gets
nobody attack any members of the Whovians, by the way.
Before anybody gets their knickers on a twist.
Yeah, they do.
So what I've heard is that it's Prime that they're talking to. Supposedly how things have went down at the minute is that the BBC approached several different streamers.
Mm-hmm.
Prime seems to be the one they're making the most ground with at the minute.
Mm.
Now, they wanted Prime to basically foot the bill for the same amount of money for this deal. And Prime basically said, absolutely not.
Oh, yeah.
At which point, it just now happens to be convenient that the international rights for Doctor Who for the series 1 to 13, the HBO deal expires on the 1st of August.
Yeah, so like 2 more months.
So they've been able to offer them the series 1 to 13 catalog to Prime. The person that also told me this said that they're not sure whether the classic series has been offered as well, but they imagine that it probably will if they can.
Yeah.
And that they are now more interested in the fact that they're able to get the rights, because the biggest problem with Disney was that people were signing up to watch the series, but they weren't staying after the series.
Yeah. I mean, you have only 8 episodes to watch, so like.
Yeah. So the plan would be, from what I've told, is that it is a longer deal than the Disney one. I don't know if you've said how many years, but I'm not going to say how many. It is a longer deal than the Disney one. They've got a modern series. I don't know if they've got the classic series. But as is always with these things, this cannot be announced. It cannot be made public until after the war between the land and the sea airs.
Correct. Which means there can't be an exit with Disney until after the war between the land and the sea, which I basically was saying.
Well, I think from what this person has told me, Disney have made their mind up, but out of respect for both parties, that announcement's not coming until the war between the land and the sea.
But that's not definite. That's just rumor and speculation. We don't know.
That's rumor and speculation. But
I still feel Disney's on board, but I respect that.
It would suck if we have to wait for.
I respect that there's possibilities, but I'm still on the notion.
As Connor had said about creative control, they wouldn't be assuming full creative control, but they do want this to work. It's going to be a longer run, so they do work. So it is longer than 2 seasons. So they want it to work. So they do want more of a say. Now they don't want to dictate, but they do want to have a little bit more of a say. Now, will that be notes? Possibly. Although what I suspect and what I've said to you and Connor privately is that I reckon when the series comes back, there will be a shuffling of the execs on the series, because we've got Jane Tranter, Julie Gardner, who will stay. There's no denying that. We've got Phil Collinson and Joel Collins, and I reckon we could lose them. That could be a possibility. But there will be a shuffle in terms of the execs, and I wouldn't be surprised for a second that maybe Amazon will want to appoint a British producer to be an exec.
Why don't you just say it flat out? You're saying replace Russell T Davies.
No, I'm not. No, I'm saying what I'm saying is Russell would still be in charge, but there would be another exec under him, like Jane
But
Tranter.
you can't. The thing is, you can't have someone in charge but then not be in charge.
Yeah.
You can't have it's either or. Like if he's in charge, regardless of what input they give, he could say no to it. It can't influence his decision as the showrunner, any little bullshit notes. That's why I said, and maybe it's my experience running a store, running a district, running a medical practice or a mall, but working with a whole bunch of people and being in charge of them. Like you can't micromanage anybody. It's either he's in charge or not. And if it's a deal where they say either we give input or you're gone or we're out, then you're out. I don't care. Like we're not. We need to worry about long term, not short term. And I think that if it was a play for him to be out, and then let's say Amazon did take over, and that's over in 3 years, then nobody would come back to help Doctor. It would be done. So it would be extinct.
The simple fact is, I agree with what you're saying 100%.
Right.
The simple fact is that whether it's Disney, whether it's Amazon, whether it's whether it's Pluto TV, doesn't matter what streamer it is.
Well, it does actually matter.
Yeah,
because they're not going to jump. They're not going to be on a low budget streaming service.
But the matter of fact is that there has to be some sort of change going forward. Yeah. Now, whether that's episode length, I hope we get more episodes. I'm praying we get more episodes. Right. But I think the tone and the approach has to change. Now, I have no doubt that Russell T Davies is able to do that. I have no doubt he's done it before he's done it, dark. I've no doubt that he's able to do it.
You know what I think is the problem with RTD? Like everything he says, no one says no to him. So like every idea he has just goes through. Like we need someone who can say no to RTD.
Yeah, good luck with that. Good luck with that, by the way. Good luck with that. That's not happening.
Yeah, that's the problem. Because like
he's not going to be.
He's too powerful.
What?
I don't think he's good without someone to rein him in, because he's a little too eccentric to be able to. I don't think he has an internal filter, and because he's so eccentric, he's fully prepared to throw any shit at the wall and hope that it sticks. And like if you've ever read The Writer's Tale, he is constantly going on about how, like Marty said, Julie Gardner has emailed him to tell him that this does not work, this needs cutting, that needs cutting. It's a constant throughout that book, and it's because he at RTD Unleashed, it's not sustainable as a show. If he was to just do the show on his own, it would be an absolute fucking mess. It'd be all over the place. You'd have 100 billion ideas floating around. None of them necessarily connect. There's not a comprehensible kind of storyline. He might be able to get like the character beats right, where all the characters are rounded and you can be attached to the characters, but the story would just be up in the air. We
don't even have characters anymore. He just practices. I don't know. Or
this is the thing. I would rather take episodes that are lower budget for us to get more episodes.
Yeah,
because it's like someone pointed out on Twitter the other day. I was looking at this that there's no real emotional beats in this era, like what the series had. There's no, there's no scene of like you remember that scene in is it Part of the Ways where Jackie and Rose are in the TARDIS and she's like, "Oh, I met Dad," and stuff. There's no real, and I just think that helps a lot. It lets things breathe more. It lets things, and I just think that's the problem with 8 episodes, that you don't get enough time to build these characters up. I just think it's yes, they can argue this is the modern way things are done, but no, I disagree. I still think at the very least we should have 10 episodes. Like I would be very happy to go back to HD, the odd wobbly set, and crappy CGI if we got more things like that.
I mean, take a look at Belinda.
I know, Joe, but like, come on, like, would you not lower? I'm not saying. What I'm saying is, would you not be willing to lower things a little bit to get more?
This is exactly what I was going to say. And to be honest, like, if you look at Hollywood, the people that have the less budgets usually make the better films.
Mm-hmm.
Take
a look at Sinners. I think that was like 15 million.
The only thing I could say is, if you take it from a gaming perspective of evolution of video games from Atari 2600 to PlayStation 5, you're asking me, do we take Doctor Who and go back to Atari 2600? Where while there is games now that they call shovelware that's on PS5 that have those crappy graphics, they will never sell as well as the PS5 God of War Ragnarok or whatever.
I mean, sure.
I'm going to give you a recent example of a game, actually, because I'm vaguely aware of this, because everyone I know hypes this up to high heaven right now. There's this Expedition 33 game.
Oh, that's so good. It's going to be
like it's the very first game that this studio has made, or they've made one before that was a hit.
It's like 30 developers also.
Practically on no budget whatsoever. And they've come out with a game that all my friends are literally saying is a 10 out of 10 across the board.
Yeah.
I haven't heard
it works when if you have too many components to work with, too many cooks spoiling the broth, it fucks up. You have to be I'm all for streamlining the show to where it goes back to the absolute bare minimum, because I think that it would work that way.
Yeah. I mean, take a look at Belinda. Honestly, Robot Revolution, she was so good, but after the episodes progressed, she just became a joke of a companion. Like,
because she wasn't supposed to be the companion. It was like they threw her in. First of all, think about this. He did write the episodes on the fly, replacing Ruby Sunday. And then a week later, she's hired without even writing a script to know how she's going to act. Just like he shaped the script around Shooty Gatwa. So, like, basically, that's why in the finale, maybe his wife is not supposed to be anybody, just a regular person, and Ruby is supposed to wake him up or something. She's not supposed to be the main focus of the whole goddamn season. It's supposed to be Ruby Sunday.
It's like even now that I think about it, what about season 2? It's like even Moffat said it, because when it was announced that Moffat was doing Joy to the World, Moffat said in an interview that Russell was just completely wrapped up in trying to get season 2 sorted.
Yeah, and he conferred with him about the finale.
Yeah. But I just think that there is something. I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel bad saying this, but at the same time, I feel like I need to say this. I adore what Russell's done for the show, and I met him on several occasions, as you know.
Yeah, I know.
I've had coffee with him.
I know every other month or what. I know, and you went to the play where Shooty was at the play.
Yeah,
you met him in the BBC coffee shop. Yeah. You were in Doctor Who Unleashed, by the way. Congratulations with your 2 photos and two appearances in Doctor Who Unleashed that just aired recently. So
yeah, like and that's, by the way, disclaimer, I'm not in Doctor Who Unleashed because I know Russell. I just happened to be in a place where there was a fan thing being filmed.
Right.
Just want to clarify.
Yeah, let's clarify that because some people, we don't want them to go wild. Yeah.
One other question. Do you guys think that RTD is going to keep doing his, villains from the past from Classic Who? Like, in season 3, we get the Meddler or some shit.
I feel he'll bring anybody back.
Well, I just, as long as he needs to stop the CGI nonsense. I don't mind. Back, just stop the CGI nonsense.
I just hope that I would. All right, Marty. Next time you see him, just how about this? Could you just tell him that I said flat out? Could you please give me an episode or a few with Omega to do it justice? Like, could we go back into the antimatter universe and the Doctor save the current Ronnie and just kind of deal with Omega and he's humanish or Gallifreyan or whatever? Because that kind of ruined it, and we just need him to do please save. Let's do a save hashtag save Omega. Fucking, I don't care. Like, save Omega's reputation, Doc. Whatever the fuck you want to do, because I just don't want it ruined. Please.
I just feel that I love the man. I love what he's done, but if I could say, like, I'm not best mates with him. I see him occasionally at things. I'm lucky enough to see him.
You don't need to explain, Marty. Yeah. You've seen him numerous times.
If I could say anything to him.
If I could jump in, though. Yeah. It's not just him, by the way, because you sent me pictures of you and Paul McGann. You sent me pictures of you and Susan, Carol Ann Ford. You sent me pictures of you and Pearl Mackie. You sent me pictures of Shooty and DeVrod, the see-through. You were with everyone. So stop that. Please try to stop diminishing the Marty. Yeah. Okay? Don't diminish the Marty. Run for it, Marty, that we battled years ago. Don't diminish that.
Do you still think the war between is this year, or do you think they'll push it to the next year?
Oh, it's this year.
This year.
And I know what it's in, but I can't say it.
This year.
It's the end of the year, I kind of feel like, anyways.
Yeah, you're not.
It'll probably be soon. It'll probably be very soon.
But look, I just feel, like I was saying to you, if this whole talk about this deal is true, I hope that some sort of compromise is made.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Amazon should be dictating every single thing, but it doesn't matter what stream. It does matter what streamer takes it, but at the same time, you could ship it out to any streamer. The main thing that they're all going to say is that it has to be different than what the past 2 years. It has to be.
I would, if Russell did the right thing and say that Billie Piper's not the Doctor, but the TARDIS or Bad Wolf,
I think
I would be at ease, and that the Doctor is missing because of time shifting or the reality. He's not supposed to alter time or whatever he did. I would be okay with that, and I would be okay with David Tennant helping out Rose Tyler or Bad Wolf, or maybe the TARDIS plucked Rose Tyler from her universe or whatever. I would be okay with that 100%.
There is part of me though. I've had a week. I've had just as long as you to think about this, and there is part of me now that's like, there's half of me that's like, right, do a special with Tennant, resolve it, and get rid of her. But there's another part of me is like, do you know what? Just die by the sword. Give her a full run. She is more than capable of doing it.
Not as a Doctor. No way. Sorry. No. You can't.
Why not?
Listen, because you have to establish rules in Doctor Who that you would never break, because then you will break every rule there is. Because then the doctor could become John Sim, or the Master could become Clara. Like, I don't want that. I want, like, I don't want it to be where like she is his girlfriend and he takes the image of her that's sick and twisted, and it ruins any future thing that you could possibly have with the character Rose Tyler and the Doctor, because the Doctor's not always going to remain the way he is. He's probably going to go back to being straight at some point or whatever.
She's not his girlfriend, really.
It would be something along the lines of, it would be similar vein to like Peter Capaldi playing Caecilius, or like, Karen Gillan, Colin Baker being in that 2 episodes before or whatever it was before he appeared as the Doctor. It is sort of like the modern day version.
You know what you could even say? You could even say that the memory TARDIS is connected to the regular TARDIS and brought Rose Tyler in to help out. That's what you could say. Usually, their memory TARDIS connected to the real TARDIS as just sort of like a backup where the TARDIS has no energy in that universe. It's in a different universe and it needs help, and it's connected directly. The TARDIS is directly connected to their memory TARDIS and David Tennant's 14th Doctor TARDIS, maybe.
Yeah, it's it'll be interesting to see what.
I'm okay with Billie Piper appearing in an episode. I'm not okay with her being the Doctor.
Okay,
I have to take that stand, and I think majority, because after talking with the BBC source, he agrees to. I mean, like, that was a mistake. Nothing to diminish against Billie Piper, but it really put the Whovian community on a spin to where a lot of them are not happy that she's the Doctor, and she shouldn't be.
Dude. Would you rather if they ended with like no regeneration? Because like if you just ended, then you wouldn't know.
I would rather, because again, now you ruined it. Now you caused a problem. You caused a mess. I would rather us just not know. Even though it's the wrong decision, you can't do this, because I know the Doctor wasn't chosen, but like a lot of the overall consensus in the Whovian community is everybody loves Billie Piper, but everybody that loves Billie Piper as Rose Tyler, not as the Doctor. They don't want her as the Doctor. That's like 90% don't want her as the Doctor.
There's some people that do, actually.
Yeah, but you're going to destroy the show if you make her the Doctor. You're going to destroy the show completely. The show will get. You make her the Doctor, and nothing against her. The show will go on a rest for a long time. I guarantee it.
Who would you want to be the Doctor? If you could pick
it doesn't matter who I want. It's a matter of she can't be the Doctor.
Oh, but who would you want? I'm just asking generally. Who would you? If you could pick anybody, who would you pick?
I want the Doctor to be a male.
Right.
Okay. I want the Doctor preferably younger, but if it's not younger, I would want, like, say, someone like Alan Cumming, or someone that I know we can't choose an older Doctor like Charles Dance, but like
we're not.
I mean, I want like someone that is such a good actor that they could really pull it off. Maybe and again, someone that would want to take it on, knowing that it's a long shoot, a long 10-month shoot. And again, I really can't think at the moment who I would choose, but it has to be someone that's dedicated, like as dedicated as David Tennant and Peter Capaldi.
You're likely to get someone who, like, if you get an established actor, they're not likely going to stick around. So part of me thinks,
honestly, yeah, just don't cast anyone.
I don't want a Doctor that's under 3 years.
Yeah,
because I feel that this really is screwed up with the shooting thing. He didn't get to fight the Daleks. He didn't get to fight anything. I'm not happy with it still. You have a Doctor for a year or two, it's not even worth it. If you only have a Doctor for a year or two, it's not even worth it.
I think the Doctor should be doing. If it was me, if I succeeded Russell the Davis, Monday maybe, I would like a Doctor to get at very least a 3 season. Ideally, in an ideal world, it might work out. I'd like a Doctor to stay for 5 years, 5 series.
In today's standards, I don't think that would ever work.
Yeah.
Look, in today's standards, no offense to the whole world, but everyone is into these short attention spans of TikTok, shorter videos, shorter podcasts, so they can get in and get out. I could do videos and podcasts all day long, or I could do a TikTok like I did with a minute and it being 24,000 views that I just did. And again, that's what everybody wants, is the short things, not the long things. So that will bring money in, whereas like these things won't. But I would feel that it would technically still work for the Doctor to have 3 seasons. But if the Doctor was super successful, like if the ratings were through the roof, yes, it would work, Marty. 4 and 5, absolutely. But if it's, but it has to be 3-year minimum. 3 season minimum. I'm sorry, not year. 3 season minimum.
So Marty, something I wanted to ask you, like that's unrelated, about this Billy Piper special. Do you think that's like gonna be presented as like a Christmas special? Because like we don't know anything about if you're getting Christmas this year.
I don't know what I've actually asked that person if they heard anything about Christmas, and they said they would go and inquire and find out.
I asked my BBC source as well, and he basically said that there are talks, but there's no plans at all. Everything is in limbo. Yes, they're trying to get a Christmas special. Yes, BBC is pushing a 20th anniversary where Russell was never on board for a 20th anniversary, and yes, the BBC are pushing Russell to show dominance that if a Christmas special exists, it basically solidifies that Doctor was not canceled, and that's sort of what BBC wants. But again, everything is in limbo at the moment.
It would suck if we had no Christmas special this year, because like, what was the last time we didn't have a Christmas special? Like before, like
Chibnall era.
Yeah, it was the New Year's. There was still like
Chibnall era is not. No, New Year's is not Christmas. Chibnall era was when we no more Christmas specials. Because he established he didn't want any Christmas specials.
The thing is, right? Without going into details, I can tell you now that there's talk of Tennant being, with Billy Piper and whatnot.
Yeah, we heard that.
I can tell you now that from what I know, again, I'm not giving away details. I know that David Tennant is very, very much busy. His schedule is packed for the rest of the year.
Yeah, but he'll make do for that.
He could make do. He could push.
He'll film like fucking couple hours overnight. You don't give a shit. He'll do it.
He's a fanboy. He'll make it work.
He'll do it.
But yeah, he is pretty much busy. That I know of. By the way, I know a few things that he's doing. But yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, I'd like there to be a special. Don't get me wrong.
I feel there has to be a special.
I feel like, and the thing is, right? I feel like you need to move on this now, soon, because you've
5 weeks.
You've got the buzz around the show now. You've got people talking, and I just think that if you were able to get a great a Christmas Day slot, an hour long special, 75 minutes, whatever you want to do. I just you can. It's most people are going to be sitting in front of the TV on Christmas Day.
Is it even possible to like?
But Marty, let me just. We could film it for 5 weeks of filming, and then they add special effects on after Christmas.
Well, that's it. Now. Well, you need to get moving ASAP, Rocky.
Yeah. But I want to add something, Marty. I want to ask you a question though.
Yeah.
Why is there a rule with the Christmas special? Why can't they just say, okay, the TARDIS pulls the Doctor out of time to solve a problem. We don't have to mention Billy Piper. We don't have to we could do a flat out 8th Doctor Christmas special or a previous Doctor Christmas special. It doesn't have to connect to the finality of the reality war. We could just do a past Doctor untold tale. Why can't we do that? Why can't we just do that, Marty? Why can't we just have Paul McGann do a fucking special and not make sense? This is a past untold tale.
Purely because, and I'll tell you why, there's nothing I would love more, Joe, than that. There is nothing. I would do unspeakable things for a Paul McGann Christmas special. But the pure reason why, from a TV perspective, I can tell you this now with my TV hat on. The pure reason why, from a TV perspective, is because to the casual audience, who may have watched the last episode and tuned in, they'll be like, what the fuck is going on?
Wow.
That is purely the reason. And I know that sounds stupid to say, but that's purely the reason.
Would then Russell get on the explanation trail of how Billy Piper is Rose Tyler, the Moments, the TARDIS, a Bad Wolf, whatever 4 entities you want her to be, but she can't be the Doctor. So then just do that, explain that, or maybe she came to our universe because the Meta-Crisis Doctor is dying without regeneration energy. I don't even care. Like, just explain that.
I think
it's all gonna be explained. Like, I don't think she's the Doctor.
Well, I just explain it faster then. Faster.
Yeah, they should. Yeah, we need an announcement soon.
I reckon Taylor will be involved if they do.
Yeah.
I do think he's going to be involved, and I think you could.
But you could do it. You could do a special without even saying where the Doctor is. Like, if Billy Piper is Rose Tyler at the end of the episode, she's with the TARDIS, with the knowledge of the TARDIS as Bad Wolf, but she still has no idea where the Doctor is, and that's fine. Like, you can leave it like that, where she's not the Doctor, and maybe she even shows up at unit. Help me, whatever. Maybe she gets like Donna Noble's help, whatever. But just don't then say what happened to the Doctor, and then just leave it open ended.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Is he?
Yeah.
Still there? No.
Yes, Marty. Hello. Hi, Marty. Hi.
Hello.
Hello,
Marty. Yes. Hi, Marty. Hi. You hear me?
Yes, I just cut out.
Oh.
But look, we'll see what happens. I reckon we're going to hear something. I don't know.
Well, I just want to say, I think I said this already, but from what I was told with the BBC source is that they are allowed to film whatever the hell they want, despite whatever happens with Disney Plus. If they want to film a special on their own without Disney Plus, even though they're under contract, he said they can. He said flat out they can. So
they'll have to fund it themselves.
But he said flat out they could do whatever they want. They're not restricted to. They're not restricted to waiting for Disney Plus. They could do a special without Disney, even though they're still under contract with Disney. So he just put that out there for me. So
it'll be interesting to see. As I say, they may fund the. They'll probably fund the special with Tennant and Piper.
Mm-hmm.
And then I imagine that if they do, hypothetically, if they do sign a deal, say, with Amazon, that whatever happens after that will be purely funded by them. So, look, we'll have to see. It's all speculation. Everything is up in the air at the minute. It's who knows? Nothing may happen, but from everywhere that we've seen, and even before I heard anything, there is a new deal coming in some shape or form. We're just going to have to wait until we actually see the details.
Yeah.
I would be okay with, after the regeneration, Billy Piper and the TARDIS, like, oh, hello, TARDIS, like, what's the matter? What brought me here? Where's the Doctor? That's all I need to hear. Is that she got transported in the place where the Doctor was, and the Doctor's not there. And I'd be completely fine with that. 100%.
I don't know.
Hello. Oh, hello, TARDIS. Hello.
Have you guys seen this tweet?
I haven't. No, I have not.
Yeah, apparently we're getting some news soon. Apparently, so who knows?
Okay, Marty is in the media thing, so I don't really need to get tweets. I mean, Marty basically films with David Tennant and shit, so right. So I really don't care about it. We have Marty is a source, just like my BBC is a source, just like people on set is the source. So I don't need to look at like tweets. We're not that type of podcast where we're getting shit from Twitter. I don't do leaks like other people do. I don't talk about Gallifrey Base. I don't talk about Reddit. I mean, maybe Connor may mention them and stuff, whatever. But like, we go by actual sources and stuff like that.
Yeah,
I mean,
it seems to be making its way onto Twitter that an announcement of some sorts coming.
Yeah, like everyone's tweeting it.
It's not.
But we knew it. Yeah, that's not
it's not negative. So I imagine that. Well, what we can deduce basically is that Doctor Who is continuing.
Yeah.
Where it's going
not
to be.
Canceled, by the way, not canceled.
Get
like
fucked,
some people would say. Like some people would say. Better luck next year, mothers. Better luck.
Yeah.
Sorry, I shouldn't be laughing. But
no.
It is
10 more times. Let's see what you have to say next year, baby. All right, guys.
Joe, you're hilarious. Why have you not been on Saturday Night Live yet? I wonder.
Because I'm old. That's why. Because I'm old.
So the show is continued, but what form that takes, we're just gonna literally we're gonna have to sit tight and see what happens.
Do we go for Disney Plus budget, or we go for cardboard boxes and fucking duct tape and fucking bubble wrap? I would say Disney Plus. Let's go.
So
I'm sorry.
So our options are as follows: it's either A, the mouse, B, billionaire super villain, or C, cardboard box.
Listen,
something in the middle.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing. If we're gonna go over the streaming services, like which one, if we were gonna choose, first of all, one, HBO Max. Don't know if they're HBO, if they're Max, or they're HBO Max. Okay. They don't know if, hey, we're gonna split our company into 17 different parts, or if we're gonna be out of business, or if we're gonna be HBO Max. So they create stuff, spend hundreds of millions of dollars on Batgirl, dump it. Spend hundreds of millions of dollars on Scooby-Doo animated, dump it. I don't want them to do a season of Doctor Who and then say, yeah, we don't like it. No one's ever going to see it. And then you have a doctor that's a missing doctor, like a missing episode. I don't want to deal with that. So I would say no to HBO Max. Amazon, I would say no to Amazon because Amazon is all about more money than probably Disney Plus because they're Amazon. But they're like, oh, I want to buy James Bond. And, oh, why don't we make him wear a skirt? I don't know. Like, I'd say, no. It's an ego with the money, and they don't care even if they lose $1 billion because it's Amazon. They have more money than Disney. So I don't want Amazon to have anything to do with it. So sorry. Disney Plus, we could continue this thing. You could have the catalog. I'm sorry. And I think that would be the biggest finger to all the doom and gloomers is Disney staying. Because if Disney Plus stayed, then every single, Marty, correct me if I'm wrong, if Disney Plus announced that they're staying, every single doom and gloomer that said that Disney Plus was done would be wrong.
Yeah. You're right in saying that. Even I would be wrong.
And I have been the biggest supporter of Disney Plus and Doctor Who, and I've been pushing that thing, and nobody else has. So I would definitely do a series of specials with every character I have, showing how much Matrix Lord 2 and 2 is correct about Disney Plus, and ripping to shreds the enemy. So, yeah, I saw the chat, by the way. I'm not going to really acknowledge what was in the chat because I don't want people stirring trouble. But nobody should say anything. Nobody should say anything bad about the real Whovians cast, my group. And guess what? Not to be like the Emperor, right? But the dark side has many attributes. Now, listen, the thing is, the real Whovians cast is not going anywhere. The real Whovians cast was basically going to survive without me, but now it's got me still. So we are going to have many episodes of the Real Whovians cast because now I lost my ranking and my gaming, and I'm probably going to be more focused with the podcasts. So there's going to be more everything shows. There's going to be more Real Whovians. So my attention is diverted here, and you're going to see me more often. God help you. God help you.
Joe, the day that they announced the show's continuing, I actually can't wait to see what content you're going to produce.
Well, your favorite returned, Dig de Facto.
Dig de Facto.
Chest hair and everything. See, now me, personally, I kind of get worried if I show little skin. But Dig de Facto is not I just hope we don't see him in the shower. God forbid, Jesus. But like, de facto, your favorite appeared on the Whovian Human Resources, by the way. Oh, you didn't know that? Oh yeah.
No.
Yeah. That's the mystery channel of ours, the Whovian Human Resources, by the way.
Okay.
Because that's our organ. That's our sister company, I guess. The Whovian Human Resources that polices the Whovian community, by the way, from the doom and gloomers. Yeah.
Oh, God.
Okay,
Yeah.
so look, I have an idea about the whole Disney thing. If they do stay, I think something needs to change, like creatively.
Oh yeah.
With
Oh,
RTV, you just need
Like
to stop.
I think you need more pastries in that BBC shop and more variety of coffee. I think yeah. That's what I think, really. But that's just a little thing, maybe. Maybe
Next
some
time-
TARDIS cookies, maybe.
The next time I see him, I will relay your concern.
Could you like if there's that shop that you go to for coffee with Russell?
Yeah.
If they don't, I'm telling you right now, you got to take a picture of it. Maybe it's not allowed. Maybe like the government will confiscate it. But if there's not a TARDIS cookie in that shop, something's wrong, Marty. I gotta tell you, you got to make sure that they have a TARDIS cookie. That's not right. I'm sorry. All the money that Doctor Who make the BBC, if you don't have a TARDIS cookie in the BBC shop, something's wrong. How dare you? How dare you?
I can tell you they don't, but what they do have is it's right next to the reception of the BBC, and they have Matt Smith's TARDIS in the reception of the BBC.
There needs to be a TARDIS donut because I would review it. And you know what? I'm still mad for days that someone tried to ruin the donut lesson. We need justice for the donut lesson, and there will be justice. Okay, I may not be able to eat as many donuts now, but we still will have justice. I promise you this week. I promise you this. You try to bring Whovian nonsense into the donut lesson, but you will fail because the donut lesson will be huge. Fucking huge! You son of a bitches. How fucking dare you? God.
Hashtag justice for donuts.
I may have to have my donuts in halves now and not have complete donuts. But you know what? I still have donuts, damn it. And you know what? How dare you? I had a new donut and you ruined it.
Maybe you should like fly to London and me and you and the boss could go for coffee.
True.
You know what? I wanted to do a friggin' episode of Doctor Who based on the missing coat rack. That the Doctor would be mad that someone stole the coat rack from the TARDIS when they put the Vindicator thing in there. They put the Ronnie's weapon, but they took his coat rack. And he loved that coat rack. Where is it? Now we have to have Tennant throw the coat over like an armchair. The friggin' come on now, where's the coat rack? A villain took the coat rack. I think there needs to be a ridiculous episode like that. This is the Doctor. There must be somebody that stole the coat rack from the TARDIS, try to sell it on an intergalactic eBay, and the Doctor finds out and gets pissed off. maybe a sequel to the Happiness Patrol. Maybe Candyman took it.
The Happiness Patrol, yeah, absolutely.
I tell you right now, as a streaming service, you know what? If they did have input, Candyman returning, Sylvester McCoy, Ace, Sophie Aldred, Happiness Patrol return. I would be on board for that. And Disney Plus needs to pay for that, honestly.
Speaking of collections, are any of you buying collections that are released for Blu-ray?
No,
I am. Yeah, I'm not. I'm currently trying to figure out how to have $3,000 for book 14. So, besides paying for gaming, so yeah, I'm not paying for any collections of it. Sorry.
Fair.
I'd love to. I never started when they came out, so I'll never have them all.
Apparently, the next one is season 16. Apparently.
Yeah. But mark my words, I will find a way to pay for the next.
I know it's season 21, but maybe I'm wrong.
Oh yeah, I would want that. I mean, Lee Binding said that the cover is something purple. So do you know that season 16 has like purple all there? Like
Marty, do you know what the original plan was for the second spinoff? By any chance that they didn't do? Do you know by any chance what the definitive plan was for the second spinoff? Do we know or no?
Don't know definitively, but I've heard a few different things.
I mean, you heard the dollar crap, right? And
I heard the monster spin-off thing,
right? And then was there anything else besides you?
The one that pains me the most to say, and I hate saying it because I don't like. I'll just say it anyway. There was talk that they were going to do a few episodes with Paul Miguel.
I mean, oh no.
Oh God, man! Come on,
that sucks so much.
If I was with you, Marty, I would drink with Paul McGann about that, not getting that. I would just, I would sorrow into the pub with him.
Well,
and hug him and just like, man.
He did. When we were out, I did say to him, I'm sure he wouldn't mind me saying this, but I did say to him about coming back, and he did say to me that he did have a chat with Russell. But he didn't go into details, but he did say he had a chat with him.
Yeah, I wish. We could only wish. Yeah. I did like Paul McGann. I did. And I love that Moffat brought him back. Thank you, Moffat.
Is there any reason they stopped doing minisodes? Like, why did they stop doing that?
Well, that's about the streaming service. I don't think they want to confuse. I think they don't want to confuse things. You know? Like, I don't think they were really thrilled about Doomsday, by the way. You know? I think that was a failure, honestly. Nobody even wants to. Moffat loved him. Oh yeah. What's the status, Marty, with River Song? Like that's a Moffat thing, but Russell doesn't like River, right?
It's not that he doesn't like River. No, he
doesn't want anybody to replace Rose Tyler as the love interest, River.
No, it's not that. It's not that. It's that he. I mean, I just from what I know.
How can he get behind the Timeless Child, but he can't get behind River? Why? That makes no sense.
Well, River's story I would argue that there's more that could be done there. But
there is. You can just save it from the library, and then you're good.
From a linear point of view, it's more like a big ball of wibbly wobbly timey wimey stuff. No, sorry. He just doesn't. I don't think he just really has any. You
don't like her.
Reason to use her.
I mean, isn't he co-creator of the River?
He isn't. No, that's Moffat. That is Moffat.
Moffat's purely created River, even though he did the episode with him. He didn't create River.
That's Moffat's idea because Moffat. So when series 4.
Finding the ways you're supposed to do right now.
Yeah. So they knew. So in the book, the Writer's Tale book that Russell wrote during the production of series 4, before it was announced to the public, they knew that Moffat was taking over. Moffat had a rough sketch of series 5, what he wanted to do, and he asked Russell, "Look, I've got this character. Can we put it in the library episode so that we can say that she's met Tennant and now she's met it's a real timey out of sync thing?" And Russell was like, "Yeah, we'll go for it." So River is purely Moffat's creation, but he just asked RTD, "Look, can I put her in the library episode?" And RTD was like, "Yeah."
So now let me ask you a new question now. Being that Russell wrote the script with Moffat, right, and it's Moffat's character. Yeah. Moffat wrote the episode where Captain Jack first appeared. Who created Captain Jack, Russell or Moffat or both?
It was Russell that created Captain Jack.
But Moffat just wrote the episode.
Yeah.
Okay. So that's why. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So yeah, it's weird times.
Complicated. It's complicated. We don't know.
I'm looking forward to talking to him again. I don't know when I'll get talking to him.
I think if Moffat was showrunner again, River would be back immediately, or Matt Smith would be back for special or whatever.
I don't think we need Moffat because, remember how back then people really hated him.
I would be on board with Moffat 1,000,000% over anybody else.
I mean, I love his a lot, but lots of people don't like how finales for the.
I don't really care I don't care what anybody says. Nobody cares more about Doctor Who than Russell T Davies and Moffat, and there's nobody else better for the job than Russell T Davies and Moffat. So I would be completely on board with, what I know.
RTD just needed, someone to tell him no and more episodes, and that's it.
Never gonna happen.
Well, the thing is, as I've said to you before, back in the 2000s, you had Judy Gardner, who basically would have advised him and not put her foot down. She would have steered him in the right direction. Whereas nowadays, I don't think there is that. From what I know, it's very
that's a
much.
problem.
I really feel that, and again, maybe it's just me, but I really don't want the character of Ruby Sunday to go away, and I really feel that they need to spend the money and really make her the companion for the next season, just flat out. And even if though it's a different doctor, I really feel that she needs to continue that story, that maybe her parents are powerful, maybe, like that's the story is not what we're told. And I really want that resolved. I mean, that's the thing. It's like you're gonna have a new doctor showing up. Obviously, Unit's gonna be involved. You're not gonna have Ruby in the background. You're not gonna have Belinda. You're not gonna. That's kind of weird. I mean, it's just I kind of feel that let's get her back because she was fantastic. We got a friggin' Barbie doll, Ruby Sunday. Come on, man. That's ridiculous. Just bring her back. Bring Ruby Sunday back. Millie Gibson. Bring a season. She said she'd be on board with it. Like, get somebody that is a doctor, but maybe you could make it that the doctor now is straight and starts falling for Ruby. I don't know. Like maybe it could be a different dynamic.
I don't need more romance, please. No.
I don't want. I'm tired of the romance thing. I don't.
Yeah,
want
same.
I don't.
Eleven Clara was also creepy. I don't know what they did.
I would be okay with it. I don't. She got treated. I'm sorry. She got treated dirty. The character Ruby Sunday, they ruined her. They really made her like.
Well, this is, the problem, Joe, is the fact that there wasn't enough episodes to flesh her out. Simple as that.
She got fired, and then they brought her back half-assed. I mean, that's the point. We know why. I mean, my BBC source was trying to, almost as if Russell told my BBC source to contact me because he really wanted me to be under the mindset that it's not Russell's fault that the scripts got fucked up, and I should feel for Russell. And I can to a degree, but I can't because Omega got treated like shit. And the Ronnie got screwed over. I'm not, and Billy Piper. So I could be on board with Russell, right? And be showrunner and still be a writer and still be whatever. But I want him to treat the classic characters with fucking respect. And I feel we're not getting that. I would want Sutek to flat out return for Justice and Omega and the Ronnie, and not that it has to be a finale. It could be a middle fucking episode.
It'll be Russell sitting in the coffee shop having coffee, and then suddenly Sutex will burst through the wall and the Ronnie and go, Russell T. Davis.
You know what I would do for an opening episode? Russell is in the episode drinking a coffee. They'll just call him like coffee drinker, and like that's not even who he is, right? And all of a sudden something smashes through the building. A dollar comes in, he looks like exterminate, like it blasts him, fucking blasts him, right? Vaporizes him, right? And just, oh shit, you're seeing people looking outside the window. The fucking Daleks are flying in the air. Davros is coming in. Where's the doctor and shit? So that, like the fucking waitress. It's like, oh shit. I fucking love that. I love that shit.
I do miss the Daleks, honestly.
He's got to be a sport about that. Tell him, take one for the team. Tell him, say, Russell, could you please die by a Dalek? Just for the fans, man. Just for the fans.
Oh.
Come on.
So Marty, I've read this report that apparently there's one more episode that's gonna be done by RTD, and then we gotta get a new showrunner. Do you know if there's any truth in that?
That's bullshit, Matt. That's bullshit, Matt. All that shit that you're reading is bullshit. Like Russell is on board, and nobody can remove him. And basically, Bad Wolf has Doctor Who for years. That's bullshit. All that stuff you're reading is bullshit, man. I'm sorry. Because we have people, he's flat out in the media, and then I got a source. Like, I don't want to start talking about stupid stuff on Twitter. No offense, but that's nonsense. We're not going to promote people that have like 5 followers, like, and that making shit up. I'm sorry. No, I mean, we're not like a cast. We don't like chase ambulances. We don't chase TARDISes. We don't look for stories like that. We do actual major shit on this podcast, so I don't want to bring it down by someone just posting shit on Twitter. Sorry.
Yeah.
But I gotta go, guys, because it's time for me to. I gotta do other things. So thank you very much, Marty, for your time. I appreciate it. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Connor. Thank you, Louie.
Thank you.
I'll try to be back later. Take care. Bye for now.
Yep.